This is A to Z with Mark Zinno, part of Locked On Sports Atlanta, and it starts now.
Good afternoon. Welcome to A to Z here on Locked On Sports Atlanta, where today I tell you it's not all about what you see first. Welcome in. We are live here on this Friday. Appreciate everybody finishing up their week with A to Z right here on Locked On Sports Atlanta. Big show to get to today. Of course, we've got a Hawks game tonight. Pardon my yesterday missing that the game was tonight, but it is tonight. And my theory still stands the same, by the way. Need to show out tonight for the Hawks. Need to see a big performance from the Hawks. And Chris Kirschner of The Athletic is going to join us next segment as we break down that game from start to finish as the Hawks try to get back into this series down in Miami 0-2. Of course, Braves starting a new series down in Miami. So we've got a lot to get to here today. And I want to start with the Falcons, because after talking to Mike Rothstein of ESPN, ESPN.com, and From the Perch podcast yesterday, and by the way, next week, we're going to do draft coverage every single day, Monday through Thursday, leading up to the draft, including Friday as well. So it's going to be a heavy draft week. But there's one more note I wanted to make about the Falcons draft. And Mike Rothstein and I talked a little bit about this yesterday in going back and forth and understanding that while everybody has a focus on what the Falcons are going to do at 8, and I have my opinions and you have yours, and everybody seems to feel what is what may be the best thing for them to do. And I've said repeatedly that for me, this is about, the organization telling me what their plan is for the future, right? And I understand that, what their plan is for the future. And I think will be very telling by what they do at 8. Now, that said, I have led you all astray in saying that partially, because in reality, we have to look at the draft for its totality, for every single pick that they make, regardless of whether it's a 6th or 7th round pick or a 1st and 2 second-round picks. The draft and building a roster altogether is in its totality. And it is misleading to put all of the weight on one pick on what they do with their first-round pick. Well, why do we do this? I'll explain why we do this. Because the first round of the NFL draft has now become a single soul solitary TV event. It's all we focus on. It's what 90% of people watch about the NFL draft. Most people don't even tune in for day 2 and day 3 anymore. And so this is a completely different experience. And we've absorbed what round 1 means because it's got all the glamour, all the glitz, all the glory, everything about the NFL draft. But the problem is, again, is that when you're viewing what a team does and how good they are, how bad they do in the draft, you have to look at the entire draft. Think of it this way, fellas, okay, and ladies. If you see a member of the opposite sex that you are attracted to, if you see another human being that you're attracted to, and you look at them, you're like, wow, did you do the eyes bug out of the head? They're like, whoa. You're almost so taken aback by how attracted you are to this person. You just stop in your tracks. And that's all fine and good. And that is the initial, right? That is the first glimpse, the first catch of, oh my God, I'm in love. However, you kind of got to get a little bit past that, right? You kind of have to go into a little bit of the, do we get along? Do we have the same likes and dislikes? Are you smart? Are you dumb? Can we have fun together? Can we laugh? Like, you have to find out all those other things, getting past the looks. You got to get past the looks of the first round pick and look at the entire draft. And there is evidence to show how important that is. And oh, by the way, and everybody knows, I kind of got a soft spot for the previous GM because I think he did a really good job. But, rounding out an entire draft really is the mark of a good GM. Finding those day 2 and day 3 picks that matter, especially the day 3 ones. ESPN.com ranked all of the draft picks from 2012 through 2021 over the last decade. Now, 9 of those years were Thomas Dimitroff. Last year was Terry Fontenot. On the macro, when you look at day 3 picks, rounds 4 through 7, if you look at the teams that were the highest in value in day 3 picks in rounds 4 through 7, I'm going to read them off to you. Number 1, Packers, not surprising. Number 2, Patriots, not surprising. Number 3, Ravens, not surprising. Number 4, Washington football team / Commanders. And number 5, yes, folks, number 5, your Atlanta Falcons. So before you throw all slander my good friend Thomas Dimitrov's way, understand that the team was competitive for a better part of that stretch because of names like Jonathan Massaquoi, Kamal Ishmael, Devontae Freeman, Grady Jarrett, DeMondre Campbell, DeMonte Casey, Russell Gage. Those are all 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th round picks that the Falcons got. Now, you could argue again, the Peter Conces of the world, the Rashid Hagemans, the Jalen Collins, the Marlon Davidsons, they all kind of stink. Yeah, they do. I get it. And it brings it down. But it balances out. And I only bring that up just to show everybody that day 3 in rounds 4 through 7 matter to the totality of what the Falcons are going to build. So regardless of what they do at 1, where I still hold, by the way, that if they draft a wide receiver, I'm going to be hopping mad, screaming mad. And I will roast this organization until the day I will blast that pick. Because out of principle, it's just there are so many more pressing needs than wide receiver. But I will say again that the totality of what they put together for this draft, I think, is super important. And that really is the measure. As we head into next week and we start to dissect to the nth degree every single thing about every single team and how they're going to handle the first round, remember, especially for a team like the Falcons that is in a rebuild, don't tell them, that's in a rebuild, that they need to get the entire draft right and find good quality picks throughout it all. I mean, we're sitting here looking at a Falcons team right now who their best player by a considerable margin and most accomplished player by a considerable margin is a 5th round pick in Grady Jarrett. Those guys are out there. They can be found. And you just got to get them right. You really, really, really got to get them right. The AJ Terrells of the world, bam, home runs. Absolutely. Great first round picks. Awesome. We hope Kyle Pitts turns into the same. But day 3 of the draft is really where the really good GMs make their money. And oh, by the way, I'd just like to point this out. And it's not slander. It's just an observation. When you look at the New Orleans Saints, they were 5th to last in 4 through 7 round value. And I want to bring it up because Terry Fontenot came from the Saints. Let's see what happens. Let's hope it changes. One more quick note on the Falcons, and then we'll get to the Hawks. One more quick note. I saw that veteran safety Earl Thomas wants to come back and play. This, if I was the Falcons, I would look into. If there is a veteran league minimum that he could get, I would call him and say, look, this is all we can offer. Here's the veteran league minimum. This is what our cap space is. We'd love you to come play here and mentor these guys and teach them. I think that's a smart move. I generally do. Forget everything else that he did. Dean Pease loves safeties like Earl Thomas, and he's always had them. He's always had high-level safeties like that. Is Earl Thomas a high-level safety anymore? Probably not. Is he going to make a huge impact on this defense? Probably not. Is he there to, show younger players how to play and how to prepare and everything else? In part, yeah. It's not like he's got to put his arm around him and tell him how to do all this stuff, but he is there to say, this is how I do it, kid. Watch me, and they all watch and learn. I'd investigate. I'm not saying 100% I do it, but 33-year-old Earl Thomas who wants back in football for Dean Pease might be a good match, especially since he can't ask for much given all of his past troubles. Might be worth a look for the Atlanta Falcons. You heard it here first. All right, coming up next, Hawks, Heat, Game 3 tonight. Must win for the Atlanta Hawks. Chris Kirshner of The Athletic will join us right here on A to Z on Locked On Sports Atlanta. Free on YouTube. Search Locked On Sports Atlanta wherever you get your podcasts, and we'll be right back.